Every 10 years, time offers us a man who is indeed reflective of his community and his people and their needs. William Herbert Anderson. William Herbert Anderson, best known as Hicks Anderson, was an outstanding community activist who came into prominence during the Wilmington riots of 1968. Mr. Anderson was a native of Wilmington and a graduate of Howard High School. Mr. Anderson was a renowned civil rights advocate who consistently struggled for underprivileged youth and adults throughout the city of Wilmington. He was a skilled negotiator who became known nationwide as an advocate for parents and students in the Title I ESEA program. He received national recognition for his expertise implemented in one of the nation's most successful educational programs. During his lifetime, Mr. Anderson's fiery personality daunted many of his opponents. However, even those he opposed understood his sense of justice and fairness. The accomplishments of Hicks Anderson up until the year 1972 were best chronicled by J. Harris of the Jackson Advocate.
William B. Hicks Anderson, a central figure in efforts to have Dr. Earl C. Jackson named Wilmington School Superintendent, is known in the city's black community as an aggressive community leader and a vocal spokesman for the rights of the little man in some segments, loud and obnoxious in others. Anderson, 39, a native of Wilmington and a resident of the Northwest Side, has been employed by the Kingswood Community Center in varying capacities for 13 years. He is now director of the Jimmy Jenkins branch of the center. He dropped out of Howard High School in 11th grade, but a year and a half ago received his high school graduate equivalency degree, GED. Before working for Kingswood, he served in the U.S. Army. Anderson has taken courses in community organization and recreation at the University of Delaware and Fairleigh Dickinson University in Rutherford, New Jersey. He notes that he is one of only 2 people in the state who have received certification as roving leader trainers. In the past 2 years, Anderson has been very active in community-based efforts to make local institutions more responsive to the black community. Over the last few years, recipients of aggressive attacks from Anderson have included the State Division of Social Services, the Wilmington Housing Authority, the Wilmington Board of Education, the current city administration, and a construction firm tearing down houses in the Northeast. For example, last March, Anderson decided that too many houses were being demolished in the Northeast community, which needs good renovated housing. Anderson confronted the firm of J.F. Toner and Sons Incorporated, which was prepared to demolish 5 buildings in the 1200 block of North Hill Street. The next day, James F. Toner, contractor, offered one of the homes to the Kingswood Community Center at a low cost of $1. Anderson, working with Lawrence Bracey of United Neighbors for Progress, leveled his sights on Wilmington's $1 million Title I program for educationally disadvantaged children. A year later, as a result of the efforts of the group Anderson led, the two top administrators in the Title I program that the group said were unqualified are no longer in the program. The federal government is in process of auditing the program's books, and the parents of the Title I children meet regularly in the powerful Parent Advisory Board, which has veto power over the operations of Title I in Wilmington. As a community worker in the Northeast, where two Wilmington Housing Authority public housing projects are located, Anderson had been at odds repeatedly with the Wilmington Housing Authority. In fact, it is in a large extent the issues and the concerns of the people in the Northeast to which Anderson addresses himself. Last September, for example, Anderson led a group of several hundred protesters into Northeast Boulevard during the evening rush hour, causing an immense traffic jam to dramatize their demands that crossing guards be hired to see school children safely across the street. To everyone else's surprise, crossing guards were hired for the streets several days later. Despite these accomplishments, there exists a substantial segment of the community which dislikes Anderson and his tactics and say he's merely an obnoxious loudmouth which should be ignored. However, in whatever the case, Hicks is an established grassroots community advocate to whom a lot of people turn with their problems.
Hicks helped form a steering committee that organized the National Coalition of Title I Chapter 1 parents and coordinated it from Wilmington until it moved to Washington in 1977. The group now has about 3,000 members. He was kind of like a beacon for the whole thing, said Lloyd J. Hargrove of Buffalo, New York, who was a national chairman while Anderson was coordinator. Mr. Anderson was a national chairman from 1985 until last fall. J.P. Street, executive director of Hilltop Lutheran Community Center, began working with Mr. Anderson in 1974. There is no question in my mind that if it had not been for his untiring efforts, school desegregation would not have been achieved as nonviolently as it was, Street said. Mr. Anderson had opposed court-ordered busing for desegregation, but as he recalled in a 1988 interview, he decided, "We're not going to have buses being burned and children stopped from going to school." Anderson and Street worked to diffuse potential trouble by trying to ease city parents' concerns about busing and by mediating with police and school officials on behalf of minority students when conflicts erupted. They worked together in the Coalition to Save Our Children, which represents the interests of Wilmington's black children in the desegregation case. Mr. Anderson also helped teach Wilmington Housing Authority tenants and applicants through Project ACT, which provided instruction to housekeeping, general maintenance, and minor plumbing skills. He founded the group in 1972 with more than $27,000 from the Wilmington Housing Authority. The Reverend Otis A. Herring, pastor of Union Baptist Church, said that Mr. Anderson could never be replaced. Herman Holloway Jr., who worked with Mr. Anderson during the racial struggles, and his longtime friend had a no-nonsense, cut-the-red-tape style that irritated a lot of professionals, black and white, in high places. Harry L. Gardner, vice chairman of the Wilmington Police Community Advisory Council, said Mr. Anderson was one of the greats who will never be replaced. Mayor Daniel S. Frawley dealt with Mr. Anderson for almost 20 years. Frawley said Mr. Anderson was instrumental in starting a summer youth recreation program in Price's Run Park in Northeast Wilmington. Littleton P. Mitchell, president of the state NAACP, called Mr. Anderson an integral part of the community who spoke out about those things that he thought would benefit the community as a whole. Hicks Anderson left an untiring legacy as he fought for the poor, disadvantaged, disenfranchised communities, until his passing on February 26, 1990. He fell ill on February 15th while he was in New Orleans to complete plans for a conference of parents and disadvantaged children. Mr. Anderson had been ill for several months. In April, he underwent surgery to remove part of one lung. He had previously undergone heart surgery once before. Mr. Anderson work in the streets earned him the respect of many in Delaware. Families of all races sought his help in cutting through the red tape when youths got in trouble. Wilmington police, as well as school officials in their early years of desegregation, asked his help to diffuse potential racial confrontations. Where is the warrior? Wherever children were hungry, for food, for knowledge, for shelter, for the warmth of a strong arm, there you'd find this warrior. Wherever the rights of the poor were under attack, there stood this black lion-hearted champion. Back to the wall, alone is necessary, but never lonely, bearing as he did so many unspoken hopes, so many silent tears, bringing to the light so many dark frustrations of those afraid to speak, forcing the world to hear his truth with a voice as strong and clear as all the cherished ancient soldiers, seeking neither agreement nor apology, but receiving that respect the world reserves for the fighter who doesn't fade from the sight of his own blood. He stood tall behind home plate, or on the street corner, or in the chambers of the mighty, and made his case like the man he was. And if there's meaning to the word legacy, it will be found in the march of black men who stand in his place and loved life enough to struggle for their people.